and nothing ever will. Tried to stay sober, tried to stay clean. Wake me when it's over, like a bad dream.
Hey, oldish people from the internet. My name is Dan the Mexican, and I hope you are enjoying this beautiful day. Quick commercial like always. If you like our content, please don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe, and share this video with everybody. This is what it keeps us motivated to continue making videos for you. Looking at my daughter playing with her phone the other day made me think about the stuff that I used to do when I was her age, back in the day, like 25 years ago. Do you remember the stuff that we had to suffer through that kids don't nowadays? Well, today I compiled 10 things that you kids will never have to suffer through. Coming right up. For number one, we have math. That's right. When I was a kid, I remember hating math. Not because I didn't understand it, it's because it was so tedious. And this is the thing. Back in the day, we used to do math by hand. With a piece of paper and a pencil and, with an eraser because, in case you made a mistake, you didn't want to do it with a pen. So there were different times back then. But, math was one of those things that always boggled me, and I think everybody back in the day and even now, if you really don't like math, it's kind of torture. It's funny because there was one time I was doing an exam, a math exam. I can't remember, I was in school, but basically I got caught. I was cheating on my math test. I had my calculator hiding, like under my arm so I can do the test. And and the teacher just caught me, and then this is what she said. "Is that a calculator? You need to know how to do this by hand, young man. Well, what? Are you going to tell me you're going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket at all times? Huh?" And now we do. Every single cell phone for the last 25 years has a calculator programmed into itself. So kids nowadays will never understand, the suffering that we went through by doing everything by hand. They don't need to learn math. They should anyways. Yeah, they should, but they'll never know the suffering. For number two, we have libraries. Do you remember those? Nowadays we have the internet. Kids nowadays don't even know how much suffering it was to actually go to the library, find the right book, and you have to be super quiet because everyone was trying to read or trying to study or whatever. It was a nuisance. Nobody liked to go to a library unless it was like a group thing that we had to do. Like in a group, assignment or something. That was cool because you get to see your friends. But nowadays we have the internet. Kids will never understand, will never know how it felt to go to a library and do your homework there. Having to use a payphone. Going back to cell phones and everything wonderful they have inside, your kid will never have to go through finding a phone on the street to trying to call somebody. Everybody has a cell phone nowadays, so if your kid is 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, eventually he's going to get a cell phone. It's engraved into our society now. But he or she is never going to understand how it felt that you really had to make a phone call and you need to go outside. If you didn't have a phone in your house, you have to go outside, find a payphone, have enough change to use that payphone. And one of the things were going to happen. One, you're going to get a busy line. Because everybody had a phone at some point in their house. But if somebody was using it at that time, you couldn't reach anybody. You could just wait there and wait, a few minutes until, the line was clear so you can actually call. Or number two, if you're looking for your friend and, the dad answered or the mom answered, it could have been a little bit of a mini awkward conversation because, I'm a guy and let's say I had a friend that was a girl and, I'm looking for Daisy or whoever and I'm talking to the dad and it's awkward. We're like, "Oh, it's Daisy there." You didn't even know your friend was there. Kids nowadays don't understand how that feels, how that felt back in the day. So this is one of those good things that your kid will never have to go through. Talking about busy lines, do you guys remember the internet back then? Do you remember how torturous that was? Well, if you're not over 25 or at least over 30, back in the day, internet was a neat thing. Believe it or not, the internet hasn't been around for a long time, and like everything, new with technology, it had its limitations. one of those limitations, if you remember, if you're old enough to remember, is that you had to use the phone line to access the internet, and the internet was slow. So one of the things that your kid is never going to suffer through is slow internet. Everything is high-speed internet now. From 50, 100, 300, 500 megabytes. Depending where you live, you might have Google Fiber, not sponsored by the way, and you can have like super high-speed internet. And that's not even the point. Your kid will never have to suffer through maybe you're trying to download a movie, and what you thought it was high def, and it's gonna take 8 to 10 to 15 hours to download. Nowadays you have Netflix on the go. You have all these different websites. Your kid's never gonna have. It's never gonna go through that. We did. Do you remember? It really sucked. For point number 5, pictures. Do you remember pictures? You remember that torturous thing it was to take a picture and actually come up good? Nowadays everybody can just take out a cell phone or a portable camera or whatever, and you can see, right there if it's a good picture or not. To see if you actually have to do, take another one or whatever, change, whatever you want. Back in the day, unless you were a professional photographer, and even then, you didn't know how a picture was going to come out until you developed them. And nowadays, everything is printing this, printing that, 3D printing. I mean, there still exist kiosks and places like Walmart or pharmacies. They can actually go and print these pictures out to whatever size you want, high definition. They're super cheap to print out. But back in the day, if you know what I'm talking about, that you kids will not have to go through, it's rolls. You have to either think, okay, I need to take 5 pictures of something, but the rolls got 15, 20, 30, whatever. It was your decision to, just take more pictures of whatever, or just waste the rest of the roll, take your ass to the mall, or whatever, and actually get them developed. You have to go somewhere so you can get your pictures. And most of the time, it used to take like an hour, sometimes the next day or something, but you have to wait to see your pictures actually printed out. And then you'll figure out, oh man, I closed my eyes, I blinked. Now you have to do the process all over again. Your kids are never going to have to go through that. For number 6, we have Google Maps. Your kid will never get lost. Enough said. One of the things I do feel bad about, kids these days, and this is point number 7 if you're counting, is music. Back in the day we had the best music. Today's music, like you turn on the radio or YouTube or Spotify or Shazam, whatever you have, and today's music is garbage. You listen to the lyrics and the tunes, and this is one of those things that I'm actually happy. I was born before this era. Your kids don't know what good music is. Blink-182 was the best band that ever lived. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'll sue you. I'm an adult now. I have lawyer friends. Music. And speaking of music, kids nowadays don't have to buy music anymore. When I was younger, when I was a teenager, I was excited about a lot of different bands. Mexican bands or American bands or whatever. I just like all this kind of different music. But it was nowadays you don't have to go buy music. You can. You can buy digital music, or you can actually go and order whatever online. You can get the physical, copy of whatever you're looking for. But now we have YouTube Music. Now we have, Spotify. Kids now rent music. They can get any and every single song they can ever imagine, either for free or for a small fee every month. They will never have to know how it feels or how it felt to go take a bus, go to that music store, look through all those different cassettes and CDs and find that one album you were looking for of your favorite artist or your favorite band. Look at the price and put it back because you can't afford it. Kids nowadays they're not gonna know that. They're not gonna have to go through that. So I guess they're lucky. Being a little bit serious, for point number 9, one of the things that I know my child at least is not gonna have to suffer through, or is not gonna go through, is being hungry. You know, when I was younger, you know, my family didn't have a whole lot of money. So, you know, it was one of those things that, you know, the sleepless nights because, you know, your stomach was so empty that it hurt, so you couldn't sleep. You know, I don't know about you guys if you had kids or not, but my kid is not gonna go hungry. That's one thing my daughter is not gonna suffer through. Because today we have now Uber Eats. You can actually just pick up your phone, you can just grab it, order where you want. You want a pizza, you want chicken wings, you know, anything you want. Now you can just have everything delivered. So kids nowadays are not gonna have to suffer through that. Amazing. And last but not least, we have point number 10 that your kid is not gonna have to go through, is not gonna have to suffer through. It is offending anybody. Yeah, that's right, offending anybody. Your kid is never going to have to go through that. Since everybody pretty much nowadays was born offended. So, you know, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Everybody's offended all the time. You know, you good for nothing snowflakes? Huh? You like that? You feminazis? Nobody is going to be offended anymore when your kid gets older. So I think that's a bright future for everybody. And well, there you have it. 10 things that your kid is never going to have to go through, is never going to have to suffer through. You know, leave me, if I miss any, just go ahead and leave me a comment. You know, some of the ones that I miss. If you can identify with this, go ahead and leave me, you know, give me a like, subscribe, share this video everywhere. Just quick thing before I go, I'm gonna have a video coming up with it's a Q&A. So I'm gonna answer every single question that you guys throw at me. So go ahead and leave me the questions in the comments. You can do them, or you can leave them at the Facebook page of Dan the Mexican. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So yeah, I'm gonna do a Q&A. Go ahead and ask me anything you always wanted to ask me about myself, or about the camera I use, anything at all, YouTube, whatever. So I'm gonna be doing that. But thank you so much for keeping in tune with Dan the Mexican. Love you guys. I'll see you next time.